Welcome to discussion at Denia J's Tea and Coffee Station. And I want to discuss discipline and routine. Okay, so if you've been on a fat loss journey like me, okay, I'm 5'5" and I weigh 140 pounds, but I have a lot of midsection fat. Okay, sometimes you have to go through trial and, and error, until you find a system that works for you. Okay, so I've been on this journey since October, and I finally found a system that works for me. Okay, so once you do find that system, it will be much easier to stay consistent and disciplined because you'll start to see some progress, and it will also motivate you to keep going. All right, so number one, it does start with your mindset. Okay, you have to prepare to be disciplined. All right, and this is important because nobody can make you do anything. Okay, so it comes from within. Okay, it starts with you. Okay, you have to make up your mind and say, look, this is what I want to do, and then you have to actually do it. Okay, you can go and you can buy a nice gym outfit, you can buy healthy foods, you can buy a pretty journal, but if you are not prepared to follow the plan that you write in your journal, then you're going to have a hard time. And you'll be starting and stopping, and that can be discouraging. Okay, so yeah, so you want to have a proper mindset. Okay, so get yourself prepared to be disciplined and to stick with it. Okay, now number two, some may not like this and others may need to hear it. Okay, but you want to stop cheating on the weekends. Okay, and I know someone's going to say, "Oh, well, no, you just do it in moderation, or you just just be balanced." And for those that have good self-control, that's wonderful. But see, for others, trying to do something in moderation is it's nothing short of torture. Okay, so for now, you need to just completely, step away from eating certain things, or if you're eating junk food on the weekend, whatever those comfort foods are that give you those dopamine hits, pizza, ice cream, candy, cake, just whatever those things are. Understand that that stuff is always going to be there. Okay, so it's okay to completely step away from that for a while, at least until you get maybe around 80 to 90% of where you want to see, in regards to your, of what you want to see in regards to your body. Okay, a whole, a cheat meal can turn into a whole cheat day. Okay, and that can bother you mentally. Because if you say, oh, I'm just going to have a few cookies or a little bit of ice cream, and then you end up eating the whole box, well, then you know that you don't have good self control. Okay, so it's best to just completely step away from that stuff. Okay, and then you'll also have to prepare your mind to prepare yourself to get back on your routine during the week. And those clean foods are not going to taste like what you ate over the weekend. Okay, and if you look down and you look like you're 5 and 6 months pregnant, then you just can't afford to just be popping in and out of your diet anyway. Sometimes you just have to put your head down and you have to stay locked in. All right. So when you have your and also your food should be whole foods. And in order to lose fat, you do have to be in a calorie deficit overall. Okay, like I keep my protein high. I try to aim for 140 grams of protein, but if I can't get that in, because that's not always easy, I'll just aim for at least 100 or over 100. And then I try to get in the 25 grams of fiber, and then my moderate carbs, and then healthy fats. Okay, but overall, I'm in a calorie deficit. So you want to hold on to your muscle while you lose fat. So that's why your protein has to be high. Okay, and then you want to aim for at least 3 liters of water. Okay, but not to stray too far off the topic. Okay, so you don't want to stray far from your diet on the weekends. You don't have to eat the same boring foods. Well, actually, if you do, you will see results a lot quicker than if you're adding in cheat days and cheat meals and so forth. Okay, but you can get creative with the foods that you do eat, the clean foods that you eat. There's a variety of clean foods that you can eat. Okay. Okay. So number three, many of us go to the gym 4, 5, or maybe even 6 days a week. So you'll take maybe 2 or 3 days of rest, for recovery. but there should be active rest recovery. Okay. You don't want your mind to be idling around on the weekends. You want to keep your body moving. Okay. Because if say like if you get bored, see, that's when those little sabotaging voices will pop up, those little voices of reason. Oh, go ahead and just eat that. You worked hard all week. You're going to get back on it Monday. See, that's when those voices will pop up. So, and not just that, when you keep your body moving, you keep the mental clarity going. Okay, you know how like when you feel real good after you work out? Well, if you keep that active rest recovery on the weekend, just a 20 or 30-minute stroll, nothing strenuous, you keep the mental clarity going as well. Okay, and when you have mental clarity, you will be less inclined to fall off of your diet. Okay, so there's a few benefits to active rest recovery. Okay, and last but not least, adequate rest. Most of us has, we've heard the saying that abs are made in the kitchen, right? But your muscle repair, your recovery, your fat loss transformation, that process, those things occur in your, not your sleep, your deep sleep. Okay, your deep sleep. So you want to aim for around 7 to 9 hours of good deep sleep. Okay, so that's about it. And thank you for watching the video. You can like and comment below and, share what your journey has been like.